It wasn't that it was never for me, it just felt like not yet. Because in this season, I didn't feel like I had the luxury of building better habits. And so I didn't need another full reset because I didn't have the capacity for it. I didn't have the bandwidth to do it. I didn't need a 10-step routine. It needed to be something simple. What I realized was I needed to ask a better question. What if I didn't try to overhaul everything? What if I just started with one thing? Hey, Mama, I see you over there trying to manage your daily chaos, trying to find the missing permission slip or tripping over the shoes and backpacks as you race out the door, beating yourself up for not having your act together. I know you're tired. You're tired of the noise and the constant demands on your attention, trying to fix your routines every Sunday night, setting alarms, color-coding lists, and still feeling like nothing actually works once the chaos hits. You're managing so much, and yet every single day, you still end it with laundry piles, undone to-dos, and guilt over the things you didn't even get to. You want structure, but you're breaking under pressure. And you crave that balance, but not at the expense of your own needs. You just want to find a way to follow through on what matters without burning out. Well, here's where I come in. On June 24th at 10 a.m. Central, I am hosting a 1-hour habit stacking reset workshop to help you stop the spinning and start resetting with clarity and confidence. We're going to walk through your evening reset routine live together. And here's why we start there. Because your evening is the most efficient place to begin. You have more space, more control, and more capacity to reset. When your evening routine is strong, it creates a ripple effect that makes your morning smoother, and then your entire day becomes more manageable. This one routine becomes your foundation. It's where the reset starts. I'll help you look at what's working, what needs to shift, and then guide you step by step in building your very own personalized habit stack, one that actually supports you and doesn't stress you out. And then I'll leave you with a routine that's built and ready to use that very same night. This is for the mom who's feeling overwhelmed and tired of trying everything, who's ready to show up and start stacking her day back together. The link is in the show notes, or go to bit.ly/HSReset2025. Go save your seat and let's rebuild your evening routine together. I'll see you there. Hey, mamas. So I know you're listening to this thinking, I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired right now. I'm just going to tune in and maybe get a little golden nugget, something that's finally going to turn this train around, this energy train, this exhaustion train. Maybe there's just one thing that's going to help me today. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know the exact answer for you. It's not realistic. I can't give you a one-size-fits-all roadmap to get it together, because your version of getting it together is going to look different than my version. That's just a fact. I just can't give you the one-size-fits-all answer. We're all living in different homes with different size families and different circumstances, right? We all come from a different background. And some of those circumstances are helpful, and some of them, well, they make life feel way harder than you ever could have prepared for in advance. Why? Because it's just the circumstances we're in. So you don't need another perfect routine to follow, because it doesn't exist. There is no perfect routine. And you definitely don't need to work harder or hustle harder or force yourself to be more disciplined. That's not it. I mean, what measuring stick would you even have to use to know if you were hustling harder or disciplined enough? There is no metric for that. That's an elusive concept. And if we're honest, it often leaves us feeling less than, less seen, and even more defeated, because at the end of the day, when you turn this episode off and you get done with your 20 minutes of listening to me, there you are. And there is your chaos. It is still sitting in the kitchen island. It is still playing in the playroom waiting on you. It's still there. So today, I want to give you one habit that I know with full confidence that can apply to all of you, and it can change absolutely everything in your life if you apply it. And yes, that is a bold statement. I realize that. I'm not saying it lightly. I am telling you that every single thing that we want to change in this life depends on it. Consistency. But the kind that actually fits your life, not the kind that wears you out or asks you to be somebody that you're not. So before we get into it, I want to remind you to register for the Habit Stacking Reset Workshop. It's happening next week on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central. You guys, it's so worth it. It's just investing 1 hour in yourself. And this is where we're going to walk through these principles together so you can stop just listening to advice and actually start applying it in real life. And it will be recorded. So if life happens to you, at least you can snag the replay. Obviously, I'd love to meet you live in person because if you're like most moms, motivation's not your problem. Overwhelm is. And that's what I want to help you with. So join me there live. Because routines that don't reflect your real life, well, that's what's getting you stuck. That's what's keeping you stuck. And this workshop will teach you how to start small. Build momentum through micro habits that reset your evening, that ripple into the rest of your day. So go grab your free seat at the link in the show notes below because you're going to walk away with a personalized evening reset routine. And that's just the launching pad. It's just the starting point. The tools to finally start building the kind of consistency that sticks. So let me tell you real quick about how habit stacking even started for me. It wasn't some brilliant business plan idea or a productivity hack that I decided to jump on. I wasn't sitting around thinking, wow, this would make such a great podcast topic. In fact, it's far from that. I bought the book Atomic Habits like so many people did in September of 2020, so right during COVID, but I was knee deep in motherhood. I had an almost 1-year-old at the time. I had a 3-year-old and I was completely overwhelmed. Who isn't, right? With a 3 and a 1-year-old. But we had just bought a full gut reno. Our house we purchased was 3 years vacant. So it needed an entire house overhaul. It was really, really bad. The kids and we moved in with my husband and we were renovating. And so we had all the moving boxes in the house. We had kids' stuff everywhere. We were trying to get the laundry set up because that was exploding out of all the corners. And a brain that literally could never turn off because I was thinking, what else do I need to order? What else do I need to get ready? All these things I was trying to remember to do. And you know what? It didn't matter because I was still falling behind every single day. And I kept thinking, I'm literally just trying to survive the day right now. It was a season of life that I'm never going to forget because we were living in a partially renovated home with a 1-year-old who was learning to crawl/walk. And there's chaos everywhere. And chaos is an understatement. And like many of you, I'm sure, I've tried all the things. I'm following someone else's routine. I'm forcing myself to color code, different bins and boxes and just trying to find a way to get organized. But every time I did, because of the chaos everywhere, it lasted maybe 3 days. Then a kid would wake up early or a contractor wouldn't show up or I got sick and things took longer than expected and I'd miss one step. And that's all it took. And it would the whole thing would start to slowly fall apart. Now, when I read Atomic Habits 5 years earlier, concepts in the book, they made so much sense. I really enjoyed the book. I loved the book. I think a lot of people did. But I remember closing the book thinking, okay, that is so smart, but it's not for me, not yet. It wasn't that it was never for me. It just felt like not yet, because in this season, I didn't feel like I had the luxury of building better habits because I had too many things that I couldn't control in this season of my life. Too many things life was just happening to me. I needed space. I needed more time. I needed more sleep. I need all the things. And a baby that loved to throw things on the floor while I cried over the laundry. There was just too many things happening at that time. And I thought to myself, no, I don't have time for that, but I'm going to put that back in the file, right? And I'll come back to it. And this overwhelming feeling that I always had was like, something has to give. I can't keep doing this. And it was the same story 4 years later. I'm still feeling overwhelmed, all the toys, the meals, the naps, and I'm realizing, wow, it's the same problem. It's just 4 years later with another child, which added a layer. And so I didn't need another full reset because I didn't have the capacity for it. I didn't have the bandwidth to do it. I didn't need a 10-step routine. It needed to be something simple. What I realized was I needed to ask a better question. What if I didn't try to overhaul everything? What if I just started with one thing, one tiny thing that I could do well and that I could build from? And that's what opened the entire door for me because I started remembering the habit stacking ideas from the book. And this time, I didn't just take it and say, that's a great idea. I took it and I wanted to make it make sense for moms like me. We live in a totally different world because we're not surrounded by coworkers that are making our life difficult. We're surrounded by little teeny tiny kids that don't know any different. They're not trying to make our life miserable or difficult. They're not. They're so innocent and sweet, and they're just living life. And I just thought, what if I could just take one tiny habit at a time and build off of that? Because we don't have quiet mornings and personal trainers and endless alone time. It's just, that's not the season we're in. We have babies in our arms and dishes in the sink and a to-do list that truly never stops. It never quits. And that's where habit stacking became more than an idea. It really, truly became a lifeline for me. It's a tool to rebuild my day, one micro win at a time. So I want to talk about this with you and get really detailed with it, because consistency isn't built through intensity. I think that's the misconception we have, is that to be consistent, we have to go hard consistently. And that's not it. It's built through stacking small wins that you can actually repeat. Because if you don't like to do it, or it didn't repeat well, then it's not going to stick. It's never going to stick. And I want to walk you through how that works step by step. So let's take a minute to strip the pressure off of the word consistency, because I know for most people that word feels like a lot. It feels loaded. It means doing everything right every single day, no slip-ups, but that is not what it is. Consistency is just showing up once, then again, and then again. It's not about perfect. It's not about polished. It's about showing up to whatever capacity that looks like. It's not about having flawless routines and checking every single box off your list. Can you do something small, something manageable and repeatable, even when it's messy? Because the secret is when you keep your head down and you don't just jump to the next thing. Okay, I'm gonna try this. No. You don't stack 5 new goals at once. You focus on one thing until it feels natural, until it feels like it's become a part of your rhythm and it's easy, until it becomes a habit that you don't have to think about. And we do have to keep reworking it until we find it, until it does feel easy. That's when you know it's working, not when it's perfect, but when it's no longer a battle to show up for. Let me repeat that. It's not perfect. That's not consistency. Consistency is showing up until it no longer feels like a battle to do so. So just doing the thing again, imperfectly, but faithfully until it gets done. That is what consistency is, and why habit stacking is literally the best tool out there for it. So number 1, let's start with what's already happening, because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. I don't want you going out there and creating new routines. We need to anchor something to what's already a part of your day. So if you already make coffee every day, that's a great anchor. You already let the dog out without thinking. Some people have issues with letting the dog out or feeding the dog at a consistent time. So maybe that's not your anchor. Maybe it's unloading the dishwasher. Or maybe you prep snacks religiously, or brush your teeth, or walk to the mailbox when the mailman drives by. Maybe that's the consistent anchor. It has to be somewhere we can begin, but it's got to be on autopilot. That anchor will become your trigger. It's becoming your cue. So if it doesn't happen without you thinking, then that's not a good anchor. I had a friend that was telling me the other day, she's going to giggle when she hears this, because we talked about an anchor, and she was like, oh my gosh, I understand what you're saying now. Pottying the dog, I do for sure. I always potty him, but I forget to feed him. So I have attached feeding him to pottying him first thing in the morning. She's like, it's so simple, but I don't know why I didn't think about it before. That's what I want this to feel like for you. I let the dog out, I feed him. Why? Because that habit, that simple habit stack, makes that part of my morning run smoother, and I don't forget something really, really important like feeding my dog. The second thing is layering one micro habit, just one, not a routine. We're going to start small, like 5 minutes or less. We don't build a routine by force. We're going to build them by layers. So what is one thing that you would improve in your home flow significantly? What would make it feel so much better? And then we stack onto that micro habit. So I'll throw some things out to you, like laundry. Is laundry something that would improve your home flow significantly? What about your fitness? Maybe your fitness would really boost your energy levels. Or resets. Maybe if you could just find spots and space in your time to reset your home in a day. Or self-care, taking care of yourself. Maybe it's not just grooming, maybe it's eating healthier. These are all things that I want you to kind of be filtering in your mind of saying, okay, what is the thing that would significantly improve the way I feel at home? Then we pick one layer of that and we start building that habit. So we're going to go to laundry. If laundry is your nemesis, for my laundry people out there, then start laundry in the wash when the coffee is brewing in the morning. Because if you're anything like me as a mom, we make coffee every day. The likelihood is very high. I do know moms that don't do coffee, but I'll tell you it's pretty high. So if you make your coffee, push play, and you go down to the washing machine and you start your batch of laundry. Let it sit there for a while. If the laundry sits and falls apart and you don't get any further than that, that's okay. I'm not worried about you finishing the laundry. I'm focused on the first. Can we at least get it started in the morning? Because once I can get you doing the habit of starting your laundry first thing in the morning, then there's no habit I can't get you to start when it comes to laundry. Because now the laundry's been washed. That is the first victory of our day. So if we can show up, put the wash in the laundry when the coffee brews, boom, every day we've got one batch of laundry started. Now, once that becomes super simple, we look at the next anchor. Okay, the next anchor is starting my dishwasher. So we start the washing machine. I don't know about yours, but mine takes about an hour. So then I go make my breakfast and all the chaos and the kids' diaper changes and all the things happen, right? And then I reset my kitchen after breakfast and I hit start on my dishwasher. I do that every morning. It's very natural for me. So it's a great anchor. What does that cue me to do? I'm heading back down to the laundry room and I'm going to put the washer in the dryer because it's likely been about an hour. Boom. I have another habit stack that I have now created. I am beginning to layer these teeny habit stacks into my already chaotic routine, but one focus, just getting the wash into the dryer. So that way, now I have dry clothes. I actually have a dry batch of clothes. If it sits in a laundry basket for the next week, okay, well, at least we have one more piece of this puzzle. It's wrinkled and in a pile, yeah, but it's clean and dry. It's a huge victory. And it's something that I've accomplished. Even if it's not something that is getting to the finish line, I'm still being consistent with something. We're beginning the process of building a habit. So we're going to focus on doing that every day, 7 days a week. Wake up. When I make my coffee, I start a batch of laundry. That's the first habit stack, and I do that 7 days a week because it might not be a big batch. Then, once the dishwasher is started, I go back to the laundry room and I put it in the dryer, and I do that 7 days a week. Now I have a dry batch of laundry. So once I've got that built, that habit is building, it's stacking naturally in my day, it doesn't feel forced. Now I'm looking to get it to the finish line. So now I'm going to look for the next anchor. Well, my kids have a bedtime routine 7 days a week. Doesn't matter what's happening in whatever season, my kids are going to go to bed. So that's the third anchor I'm going to use, and I'm going to fold that one batch of laundry and put it away. Because if you're doing it 7 days a week, it's not a big batch. So if you're willing to show up and put it in the wash when you drink coffee, put it in the dryer when you start the dishwasher after breakfast, then your kids go to bed, you fold it and you put it away. I am willing to bet that majority of you listening, if you did 7 consistent batches of laundry a week, your laundry would probably not feel as overwhelming. Now, if you're somebody that's like, I wish 7 was it, fine, do 2 batches a day and find more anchors. The solution is still the same. That's why I'm telling you that habit stacking is the tool. It is such an easy thing. It's just about figuring it out and making it customized to your lifestyle. Because now, boom, I show up 7 days a week to the one thing I'm focused on, which is laundry. And if I did it today and I do it tomorrow, I'm building that habit because I'm not trying to fix my whole life. I'm trying to build one reliable moment. A moment that creates momentum and that's consistent. And that's where the magic happens. When we start building the repetition, and that's third, once we get it and we repeat it and repeat it and we repeat it, it's going to become automatic. Building those rhythms without that decision fatigue. Because I'm not trying to figure out what I should be doing right now. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And that's because I chose in the beginning, remember, I chose the one thing that would make my life feel smoother right now. Because these aren't ands or ors. This is one thing. And then you could maybe look at stacking in another thing, like showering or working out or meal planning. But we can't start there. We have to work on the things that are going to help you the most right now, because consistency is not about doing all the things. It's about creating anchored wins that you can trust, especially when life gets loud and messy and unpredictable, which happens all the time. And over time, the stack becomes your routine. Those stacks start to layer on top of each other and they become your rhythm. And then that rhythm is what keeps you grounded. And this is exactly what we're going to do inside the Habit Stacking Reset Workshop, except you get to be there working with me live one-on-one, asking your questions. I know you don't need more information. What you need is real life application, and that's what I'm going to help you do. One small thing at a time. Build a real reset around your real life, and especially in your evenings, because I really believe that your evenings are where it all starts. So that consistency finally feels possible. It's just going to take time, but at least you're moving in the right direction. So go grab your free seat in the link in the show notes below, because that's where we got to start. Not perfectly, but powerfully. And I'll walk you straight through it every step of the way. So until next time, mamas, just keep on stacking, and I will see you there. Bye.
Well, that's it for today.
Hey friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with another mama friend who may also be drowning in overwhelm at home too? Also, please leave me a quick review for the show on Apple Podcast. It just lights me up to know the podcast is helping you. Okay, back to cleaning up the Play-Doh mess and finishing laundry. I'll be waiting right here for you on Mondays and Thursdays with another episode. Just love and life, Jess.